See, the journey for me, the journey began not when I had Parkinson, but actually from childhood because I saw my grandfather going through it when I was sort of in school. Then I saw my father going through it when I was working and I was his chief caretaker for about 8 years. And then finally I had it. I was sort of about 10 years ago, 2013, I was diagnosed with Parkinson. So I have memories of all those years, and one of my major one of my major challenges in dealing with Parkinson condition was to handle the dread and the fear that would erupted in me when I was diagnosed with it. And because of that perspective, I have an understanding of Parkinson's disease as a challenge not just to the body but to the mind, and to the extent that you understand that the body and your relationship with the body is the absolutely most crucial thing in the world. And Parkinson's, what it does is it sort of grinds you slowly. It takes little things out of your constitution, out of all that makes your identity, and it puts challenges before you as a human being, as a human constitution, as a human functioning body, which has to be tackled in emotional sense, in intellectual sense, in physical sense, in psychological sense. And the key challenge is the dread and the fear that erupts in you. As one thing is taken away from your body, second thing is taken away, and you know that the third thing is coming. At least in my case, I knew. So to handle that fear was a very important part of my sort of dealing with Parkinson's. And I have a feeling extending that for, because the human body is what we share with the rest of humanity. Maybe in life itself, fear is the key challenge that we have to handle. See, it's like, because I keep talking about this and keep saying Parkinson is a sport, Parkinson is a game. So it's like, if you think of it as a sport, then it's like give and take. When Parkinson is attacking, you have to defend. Then you counter attack and you do all kinds of things to counter attack. And Parkinson comes back at you. So I try to counter this whole business of fear and all that by transforming it into a bit of a sport and a game. And frankly, Ankur, I derive a lot of consolation from the fact that do what you will, whatever Parkinson can do, ultimately we are all going to die. So I have an ending in mind which helps me to cope with the living reality. And what you're asking is, how do I counter? Basically, you're asking, how do I counter the fear? How do I counter the emotional and the psychological challenges that come when the body is not functioning the way it is? One, by making it, as I said, by taking the sort of seriousness out of it, by making it into a bit of a sport. Second, by using my imagination to visualize scenarios which help me to deal with the challenges for example, as the disease progresses, you are not able to get up from the bed properly, you're not able to move, especially when you are sleeping and you're getting up. The body becomes very stiff when you're sleeping. So if you try to get up immediately, you'll fail and you'll get very irritated and you'll feel very sort of angry about it. So what I have done is I sort of deliberately, when I'm getting up, I sort of make myself think that I'm a baby and I'm rediscovering my body. So I roll around and I start enjoying the rolling around sensation, because you don't do it normally. So I roll around, I do this and that, my body loosens up and then I get up. So you have to do things like this. Recently, just a few days ago, I solved a problem which was bothering me a lot for a couple of months. And this is what Parkinson, see stages of Parkinson, there comes a time when you can't sleep properly. So I was having a lot of problems because I was not sleeping well. And if you don't sleep well, then your next day goes, there's very little energy, there's very little sort of thing. And if you take a sleeping pill, then your sleeping pills are very bad for the nerves. So it knocks your day off the next day. So what I've done is I have this karma, you know that karma thing, that music, old songs. So they have an instrumental section where the music is played only in instruments, the songs and all that. So what I do is before sleeping, I put the carbon right at the back of my head and I play the instrumental section. And when the instrumental section is playing gently behind your bed, you close your eyes and your mind automatically starts searching for the words. So if the Nana Versa tune is going on, your mind says Nana Versa, then you forget the words. So you go looking for the words in the head and the tune is going on. So you catch some words, and before you know, you drifted off to sleep. What used to happen was when you're not sleeping, body is not behaving properly, you panic. You start, all your lost causes coming into your head. Then you start wondering whether you sleep or not sleep. So mind goes into a whirl. Here the mind has no chance because the bloody tune is filling it in and the words are finding their way and you just drift off to sleep. In my vocabulary, this is the question which is what I use. The concept I use is of free will. Do I have free will or not in this universe? What do I mean by free will? In all kinds of ways, we are determined. I mean, I can't fly like a bird. I can't swim like a fish. So, am I limited? All of us are confined in different ways if you think of it as confinement. But if you think of it as a finished entity which has a will of its own, which can do things on its own, then there is something in us which is designed to cope with situations just the way you want it to. So once I decide that I have free will, all the things that are determined, that are fixed, can be manipulated by me using my creativity, using my energy, using my will. So I use and I believe in that I have free will. I don't believe that everything is determined, worked out. If I have that, then whatever is a given condition, I can modify it to some extent in my own way. And that little some extent is what I build upon. Very good question, because Parkinson is defined as a progressive disease. I mean, Parkinson will happen. I mean, it will take away things from you.
So you're saying that it will get stronger as time
As time goes on, neurons are bound to degenerate, and as body is aging. So as I defined Parkinson, de-acceleration and destabilization of movement and acceleration of mortality. So acceleration of mortality through de-acceleration of movement and destabilization of movement. So Parkinson will do its bit. And we as human beings, as people, whether medical or sort of physiological or whatever, we fight back. That miracle drug that is the sort of gold standard levodopa administration, that's what all Parkinson patients are administered in allopathy. So that works. That the tablet, you have the tablet and you become energized and you do things and so on. But the problem is that over a period of time it has less and less effect and more negative side effects. And you need more and more as the disease progresses. So it's kind of a dead end road. So because I have seen the progression of disease over a period, there are meant to be 5 stages as it progresses. So I've seen the degeneration in my father and all that, so I knew that it was happening. So I made very special efforts to move into other areas like Ayurveda and so on. So now I'm in my almost 10th year, and after 6 or 7 years, they said the honeymoon period is over. So imagine calling Parkinson's honeymoon. But anyway, the height of insensitivity. Or the guys who coined this must have had a very bad marriage or sex life. Anyway, so the honeymoon period got over about 6-7 years back. After 6-7 years, about 3-4 years back. That's when I started making the videos, and the challenge was to continue doing your things, play games and sports and all the things that you do without worrying about the fact that syndopa will stop, levodopa will stop affecting your mind, your body. So now I'm much more relaxed about it because I know I can continue with this combination of Ayurveda and allopathy, and I'm planning to keep the surgeons away from my brain as much as possible, because the ultimate solution in allopathy is what they call deep brain stimulation. They plant electrodes inside the head and that's supposed to stimulate your the area of the brain which is affected by Parkinson's. So I'm trying to keep that at bay, and it seems to be working now. One more point I'll make. Why am I in Himachal? Why am I on the hills? Why not do whatever you're doing in Delhi? See, I was in trouble in Delhi, but I'm doing much better here for one reason. Parkinson's main mode of attack is it shrinks you. When you're in theatre, so you do those exercises where you go big. Expanding. So to fight Parkinson, you have to do big. You have to grow big. Parkinson always shrinks. So your posture stoops, your body stoops, you go down, it just contracts you. So I deliberately do this. I deliberately come to the mountains. For next round I'm planning to go to the desert because I think it's much bigger in terms of expanding things. So I come here and my shoulders are aligned with the mountains now. My head is, there's this whole expansive, because you are in Shulni, so you know this. When you are in Delhi, you are in multi-story, your body is, So when I come here, I feel much bigger and it's much, you're broader, you're bigger, you're huger. So climbing up and down mountains and climbing up and doing things here gives me a sort of injection. So when I go back to Delhi, I'm much better aligned, and before the pandemic, I used to make a point of coming every 3-4 months to the hills, and it used to keep me going. Pandemic knocked the hell out of everything. So I'm coming here after 2 years. And frankly, when I came here, I was wondering whether I'll be able to walk uphill or not. No, I think the potential is infinite. I wouldn't have thought what I'm doing is possible, but knowing what Parkinson does, but it's possible if you place your faith in and trust, and if you learn to listen to your body. Infinite. So we can fight on.